Hello and welcome to another edition of Big Conversations with myself, T Adeyemo. I hope you all have been well. It's good to be back. It's good to be able to produce this. Big Conversations is a monthly talk show hosted by LCCMedia. We do current affairs, politics, women, finances, civic affairs, and of course relationships. Our next show is on the 18th of June. Well, I hope you will join us then. To get us started, we had a big shocking announcement on the 18th of, sorry, we had a big shocking announcement on Wednesday, where the premier announced to us he will be resigning as leader of United Conservative Party. And to help us understand what that means, we have Sunny Phool. He is the current affairs editor at Diversity Magazine, and he joins us now. Hello,
Thank you,
Mr. Cole. How are you, sir?
thank you, T. Thank you for inviting me. Honored to be in your show.
Thank you so much. I was just, a lot has happened since Wednesday when that pretty much devastating news, when we all heard it about the same time. How did you react to the news that the premier was resigning?
When he resigned from the position after finding out what the percentage of voting or the support he has received from the grassroots, he got 51.4. I think he did a good job because if he had stayed in the position or as a premier, UCP will be fighting more and it will be more diversion. It will not be a good thing. As taking as any leader, like when you don't receive a clear majority, stepping down from the position and giving a position or opening a floor to the other people who can come forward and united the party, I think he did a good job.
Did you see it coming? Did you anticipate that the premier will be resigning?
No, personally, no, because but we say in politics everything is possible. I did not expected the vote to be that low, but I thought it will be a little bit more. But you never know what it in politics and the power of the grassroots people is. I did not, I didn't anticipate it like this is going to happen, but the result which came and he took it and he acknowledged it, he respected and reacted as he should have. And I don't know, did you listen to his radio show in the morning when
You bet. You bet. I was on it.
like he did acknowledge, like sometimes when we get the responsibility or we step back to reconcile ourselves, like he did mention he might go back to finish his degree or learn other languages and explore his own personality and develop his personality and learn more about the Albertans, what they need, what they want, and how he can be support to the party and the Albertans and to the government.
I mean, of course, we don't know much about the premier's personal life, but when I was listening, I made this note exactly on the point that you made because it touched me. He said he wanted to spend time to do some personal things. Obviously, the premier is 53 years old. He said he'll be turning on his phone. He wants to finish his college degree. He doesn't spend as much time exercising as he should. He wants to connect with his old friends, with some friends he has not had time for. He wants to focus, he loves to focus on French and Spanish languages, and he will explore what he wants to do professionally. And I thought, wow, right there is the man who is the premier. We see him as a premier, but he's also a man. Do you feel sorry for him? I was on his Instagram page recently, and so there were some people just cursing him out, and there were many people, I must say, who were thanking him for his service. Would you be
One thing.
cursing him out or thanking him?
See, there's two things as a person, as a human. When we work, we start something, we do the community work, we do the volunteer work. I give you example of myself, right? I work, I have a family, and then I do a lot of volunteer work too. But whenever we are doing something, we have to take something out from the plate. You cannot, you have some, you can put some so much in a plate, but when you try to put too much, it's not going to happen. So you have to take it. So when he said, when he came in the politics from federal to provincial, he lost the friend circle, right? Like he was not able to stay in touch with them. He lost the communication with them, and then lost the language also, which he wanted to be expert or fluent. So this will give him a help to do it. And when you talk about the party, what he has done, Corona was that, the pandemic which happened in last 2.5 years or 3 years. No one has expected anything. It was no precedent before how you will be reacting and what will go well, what will not go well. That, like, I could say, damn you do, damn you don't. So he played a game. It's like a gambling. If we try to do it, it might be successful, it might not be successful, but how do you know till you do it?
Mm,
And
mm,
it's
mm.
like when you play the cards, do you know which cards you're going to get and how your hand will be? No. So it's like you are doing a recipe, you're creating on your own, and you're in wilderness. That's what I said. Like the pandemic, it was no help, it was no support. Every day we were learning new. And he tried to, I think whoever has been or all over the world, the leaders have tried to keep the economy going, have to keep the people's momentum going. They kept them motivated, because if they don't, the whole thing will collapse, because we have to see analytical. Because if your economy is going, your mental health is going, your family is going, because the rifts will be starting, like, it will be struggle, it will be commotion, and it could affect or impact anywhere in the society. So in given circumstances, I think what all the leaders in the world did, they did well.
I mean, yeah, yes, of course, Mr. Paul. I'm just wondering, with Premier Kenny, even before pandemic, did you see him making any missteps? We know the pandemic brought back a lot of flip flops. Yes, we would have. Sorry, initially he said no, there will be no vaccine passports, and then all of a sudden we all had to have vaccine passports. And he alluded to that in his press time this morning. I'm just wondering, where did the premier get it wrong? Those people are cursing him out. You know, even the premier had. Look, I just remember a little bit. He was fighting doctors and nurses during the pandemic. He hasn't always been this saint that we're venerating right now. He had problems. They're trying to bring in a curriculum that even the Alberta Teachers Association has not pretty much endorsed. So, where has this premier got it wrong? Could you take us a little bit back to his initial budget cuts and when he started to pick fights with everybody in the province?
So Leslie, I will tell you the very interesting topic, right? As you like go step by step with the pandemic and the medical. My daughter, she has just graduated, and she's an RN at registered nurse at the hospital. Even me and her had a sometimes argument, because she talked about the medical, but I said I have to go to work, because if I'm not working or I'm not doing a volunteer work, I'm not able to help the community how I wanted. So if I'm going, I'm helping the community, like we do every Saturday and Sundays, we do the food hamper run. If I'm staying at home, I cannot do it. If I'm not going to work, I'm not able to bring the money and able to pay the bills. But if I stay at home, then I'm not able to help the community, and I'm not able to earn the money and sustain what standard of living we have. So I think, as a human, as a father, what I did, I think he as a leader did it and tried the different experiments, and some experiments went right, some went wrong. And keeping all the family members or the political leaders or the party members in a same frame or same cart or same bus, it was difficult. And even like even the federal ministers too, or even prime minister also, he also brought up the medical the passport or the vaccination passport. And as we followed all the companies, like construction companies or labor employers brought that thing also, like if you want to work, you have to have a vaccination passport. And the second question you had about education, right? Education, yes. When even I interviewed the minister Adrena, we did talk about it, and a lot of other organizations. Like I give you example, like we did talk about the Hindu religion also. It was not given. Like all these people went and they said not a proper representation has been given, and they did consult the teachers eventually, and then. And the other parents or different organizations, which could be religious or it could be economical, and they are amending it. If I know correctly, they are amending it, and they have done the amendments. And this is a continuous improvement, that what I call it. If we want to change something, everyone has to come and support and give their feedback. Like politicians are not, they have done mistakes, they will do the mistakes, and to correct them we have to see where they have done wrong, support them, and make the things more profitable and for our young generation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. I'm just wondering what next for Alberta. Do you see a BIPOC woman? Maybe Leila Ahiri, you had on your show recently, I think was last week, after
Yes,
the federal conservative. Yeah, I watched that interview. Do you
so
envisage she would be the next premier? Is there a BIPOC woman? Let's just navigate the horizon
you
a
know
little bit here.
I don't want to speculate anything, but Jason did said today, the premier in the morning did said he is not going to run. So at least one person is out. And then he did mention, if anyone wants from the minister who is holding a position at the moment, has to resign from the ministerial portfolio if he or she wants to run. I don't know. Did you see, Litty, in the morning? The email did come, which had few names also, from Brian Jean to Doug Snyder, and who could be the next leader. And I think the UCP. We should not speculate anything, because then.
We should at least talk about it. We need to know. Those
No,
are
I,
mighty
I
shoes
love to
to
talk about
fill.
it, but one thing,
Those are big shoes.
I
Mhm.
will say, what the only thing personally I would like to see, whoever come as a leader for the UCP should have a full support of the party. Reason being, when we have the next election in a year and a half, whoever comes, we need a strong opposition also, because it's to have a counterbalance. So if the party is divided and they are in opposition, or they are in ruling, they will not be able to do a good job, because they will be fighting among themselves, which is not good for Alberta.
Okay, but is it time for South Asian or Black or BIPOC premier? Are we ready yet for BIPOC or South Asian premier, Mr. Paul? Your thoughts?
My pers I see, if we have a leader who is BIPOC, South Asian. I don't personally. If someone asked me, I'm from India. Um, what you call me? I'm an Indian. I've also served in Canadian Armed Forces. I'm a veteran, or I'm an Indian or a South Asian. I call myself Canadian and a veteran. So if I say whoever comes, like David Shepard from NDP, he's a quite amazing leader. He has done quite a good thing for the community, LGBT community. He's a very good leader, but whoever will be based on the party support, has to be capable, has to be able to run the economy, able to sustain the progress, or the forefront of the whole Canada or whole Alberta, not just based on one religion, one caste, one color.
I hear what you're saying. You're all
I'm
for
giving you a
party.
politically right answer, I think.
I am not a member of the UCP party, nor that party unity. I don't care too much for it because if they don't get themselves organized, the NDP will come in. So, is this a good thing for the opposition party right now? Do you think they're happy and partying all night? What do you think?
It's always when your opponent lose, then your chances of becoming a more successful is higher. It's like Battle of Alberta, what we are watching, the Oiler games and everything. We are excited, even though it's Calgary wins or Edmonton wins. We are all Canadian, we are all Albertans, but we are cheering for Oilers because we are all from Edmonton. So yes, NDP is excited because what they see their opponents or opposition is where they are failing, and they are learning from it and making themselves more stronger. If you see, even Rachel has sent a NDP did send an email about their fundraising, like how they have overpassed UCP and they have already started working towards the next election, where UCP is still fighting for their leaders. So I think in NDP side they're a few steps ahead. And if UCP does not put themselves together and come forward, they might be sitting in opposition. And it's
Okay,
good for NDP.
yes, to be honest, I love your answers. They are wise, they are balanced. You're not going to get into anybody's trouble. Did the premier do much for? Did the premier do
That's not
much?
our job. We have to say neutral and non-partisan, right?
I agree. I am, I don't belong. I want to believe I'm neutral. I don't belong to any of the parties, and my job is to question both sides. To just, what we're doing is analyzing the landscape, right? So my question is, how helpful was the premier to independent media? I know you belong to Diversity Magazine, and maybe you got a couple of perks. Would you say the premier was good to you, or as a whole to independent media?
Okay, so let me correct something. I came to Diversity Magazine as a volunteer. I'm still a volunteer. And before that, I did help other, medias also. I work as a volunteer. I don't get paid anything. So I do not have any financial um, thing. Is just a community support, community work, volunteerism. So it's just one thing. What Diversity Magazine got out of it, I have no clue, and I'm not aware of it. But for me personally, I have friends, like I worked with Honey Walia before, and I interviewed NDP leaders, and I interviewed UCP leaders. I did federal leaders and other social workers, business people, trade people, LGBTQB people, because my job is, what my passion is, to bring the current affairs, what affect us, how we can prepare a better future for our young generation. So Lee, I did get to answer your question, what my philosophy is. And few days back, my friend sent me a message. What was a WhatsApp, like it was a just basic forward, and it was so amazing, right? In a conference or in a meeting, someone asked the audiences, what you think, which is the richest place in the world? So everyone gave an answer. Someone said, different parts of the world, countries, places, anything. He said, no, it's the graveyard. Because then everyone says, why graveyard? He said, because we hold the information to us. We don't die empty. We don't share. We don't let it go. Like what I have, I'm not sharing it. So I think I'm kind of that, like getting in that kind of a personality now. I'm 53, 54. I don't know when my time will come and I have to go. So whatever I can do for the community, I'm doing it. And the second passion is about, when I came to Canada about 22 years ago, I'm not here because all my hard work. The community supported me. They mentored me professionally, being a good human. My wife, everyone mentored me, and the whole family. We were foster parents. We have adopted a child now. So it's all community support. It was not only me. So I think, like when we do, as you too, you don't have any financials, you know, expectations, you helping all the Albertans or Canadians or the world to learn more about the Canadian politics, Albertan politics, so they can take a wise decision when they are choosing a next government which can work for Albertans. I hope I'm right, and I did answer you. I hope I answer your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. So obviously, yeah, this is we've been doing this for years now, and it's volunteerism. You volunteer your hours, you volunteer your time, not expecting anything, just because I love politics. I like it. It turns
It's
me on.
passion now.
Yeah, I love it. Like I don't know what else to say. I always move towards the politics. When you look at this government, provincial politics, would you say they've done anything right?
Anything right? Okay, that's a very big question. Anything right? They have kept us moving. They have fought for Alberta oil because you see, like we do talk about the carbon, we do talk about the sustainable energy, renewable energy, but then we have to see what we have and who's paying the bills. So I'm a trade person, I'm a safety consultant. I work with all the trades and the oil and gas companies. So you have to see where the economy or the money is coming out. And we still, if we have to travel by air or by car, we need electricity. We need a power to move from point A to point B. Even if we are doing this show, I have come here, we are doing a show. I did travel, and when I'm traveling, the gas is needed. Yes, our gas is a bit crude, it needs to be refined, but that is also providing the source to and resources to keep the economy going. So I think they have done a good job. They are fighting for it with the other opposition leaders too, to keep the economy going and how to sustain what we have and use it in a more economic friendly way. And they did a good, I don't know they did a good job or a bad job. That time will tell us regarding the corona, right? Like how it's going to affect. We are in the recession, right? The recession has gone up to 6.5 or 7%. So federal people, they distributed the money and they helped them, printed the more money, helped the people, helped the Canadians to survive in the pandemic. Is good or bad. And same thing like Albertans too, did it printing more money did cause a recession? We don't know. We will know 6 or 7 years or 10 years down the road where our economy is and how did they do.
Are you a UCP person? Is that the party you registered in, or NDP, or you're independent?
I'm an independent.
Okay, fair enough.
Because my views as a person and as a professional is two different things, right? I am not when I'm talking to you as an Albertan. So that's why I mentioned I'm a good friend of all the NDP leaders too. Like when we did our fundraising for Edmonton Food Bank and Veteran Food Bank, Amala Jasweed, they all come. He's a good friend of mine. Christina Gray came. He has been there last year too. And when she does, she's a fantastic lady, very energetic, is very passionate about the labor laws and to helping the workers. She brought all the laws, even like to help amend WCB and to help the workers. David Shepard is a fantastic person. He does the LG, like he is a very much well spoken about